activity. You don't need to cram this one. When you have that your AED, it will tell you what to do, and you follow it promptly. In that case, you say, follow your master. Then, there's what we call and then the main thing I will tell us here, once you start CPR, you will continue until the patient has what we call a return of spontaneous circulation, or the patient is declared dead, or emergency medical team has arrived. There's what we call a personal protective equipment, what we call PPE. Many people that can dwell into this thing should be able to have all these things. I've said of this imagine and reimagine diseases. We have what we call the medical gloves. This will protect you from soiling your hands and getting infected. Then we have what we call eyeglasses, eye protection. Then we have what we call full body coverage, and then high visibility clothing. Especially those of us that will be doing CPR on the main road. Towards where there is a little darkness, we must wear those things so that the oncoming vehicle will see, call it a reflective jacket. You may be doing CPR, and the trailer that is coming might not know, and jam you and jam the patient. Then there will be two victims. Then there's what we call safety footwear and safety helmet. So when you are going to do all those things, you are going to equip yourself, because you must take good care of yourself before you can take adequate care of another person. You cannot give what you don't have, and you must safeguard your life before you can go to safeguard other people's lives. Then, we have been talking of cardiac arrest. What is this cardiac arrest? Not that there is a police that has come to arrest the heart. Cardiac arrest is just a sudden stop in effective blood circulation due to failure of the heart to contract effectively. So whenever you notice that the person, the heart is not pumping, in fact, they told us that once in a child, once the heart rate is below 50 beats per minute, you should start CPR. You don't want, that's why I say you must recognize when it will happen. You don't have to wait until it happens. Is it not so? So when you are looking at person, you must know when to start, when to delve into CPR. As we know, it's a medical emergency. Unexpected cardiac arrest can lead to death within minutes, and this is what we call sudden cardiac death. Cardiac arrest, the first scenario I mentioned, the man had cardiac arrest. By the time they took him to the hospital, the doctor declared brought in death. The treatment for cardiac arrest is immediate defibrillation if it is available, and then is a shockable reading. It will tell you. Cardiac arrest, CPR is used to provide circulatory support or to induce a shockable reading. What are the causes of this cardiac arrest? We are going to look at what we call H and T's. It's the mnemonic used to aid in remembering. I'll just run through them so that I'll be able to know. Hypovolemia. A hypovolemia is lack of blood volume. Like that man they said they shot. If you take adequate blood volume and also start CPR before they will now rush the patient to hospital. Also happens in the case of accident. Then hypoxia. Hypoxia is just simply lack of oxygen. So if you can be doing this piece of life, the patient will be able to be sustained until the reach. That's why in these days we advocate that every ambulance will carry an oxygen cylinder. Is it not so? If you have an ambulance and there's no oxygen cylinder in it, we don't call it ambulance. Because ambulance in the layman language is what we use to transport corpse. Here we are not talking of corpse. We are talking of live human being. Then acidosis, hyperkalemia, hypothermia. Again, hypothermia is low core body temperature. So when it happens and the person is exposed, somebody losing heat or what we call temperature is getting low can also lead to cardiac arrest. And then hypoglycemia. Hypoglycemia is low blood glucose. Especially those of us that are, or those people that are diabetic, they can easily have hypo or hyperglycemia, and these two things can also cause cardiac arrest. Then tablets or toxins. This one is very imminent in our homes, especially when you have all those grandpas that are staying with their grandchildren. You know, grandmas are highly exposed to tablets. Is it not so? And when they are taking these tablets, they might forget and leave it on the table, and the child go and pick them and swallow. We have seen it happen a lot, especially these diazepam and all these antihypertensive drugs. The child will go, and this will tell us that whenever you finish taking your drug, return it to where the child will not be able to reach it. Then cardiac tamponade, tension, pneumotorax, collapse form. And that is why most of the footballers have it in the field of play. They can shoot the ball on the patient's chest and it will cause imminent cardiac arrest, thrombosis, then traumatic cardiac arrest. Traumatic cardiac arrest, I'm going to delve in it because this time many people will come out on the road, small thing to say, let's fight. Most people don't know who is sick and who is not sick. As a medical doctor, we always say the patient is apparently well. To us, you are apparently well. We don't know what is going through you. And some people will come, before you know, the person will say, is it not this small slap I gave you? Who knows whether it's a small slap or big slap? The major thing is that you have committed murder. So we should disease small thing, small trigger to fight. Then other causes, there are also other comorbidities can easily lead to cardiac arrest. I will just name them: coronary heart diseases, hypertensive heart diseases, congestive heart failure, trauma, gastrointestinal bleeding, drowning, and electric shock. Then let's go to these factors. Number one here is smoking. Most of us smoke. Some people smoke 2 packets of cigarettes per day. And that is one of the triggers to the cardiac arrest. Lack of physical exercise. This exercise, most people construe it. Most people don't understand it. When we are talking of physical exercise, you go and do as you are doing it. Most people stretch their limit. And when you stretch your limit, you also have cardiac arrest. I've seen some people that die in the field where they are having exercise. So when you get to it's not because Alao is running 400 kilometers, you say you also run. Because you have not been giving your heart that training. The heart will collapse and you have cardiac arrest. When you go, start one small. If it's 500 meters you can do today, you do 500 meters. When you come tomorrow, you can extend by 8. But if you go and delve into, there was one training we went to. They said 3.5 kilometer dash. The person that came first in that race died on the spot. Because he overstretched his heart. He ran like a thief. At the end of the day, he died. Those of us that were still kicking till today. They don't do heroism in things of the health. Do what you can do. Don't overstretch your heart. The next one is obesity. We will not be able to sustain. Don't allow the disease to carry you to hospital. Because if you allow the disease to carry you, you might not even go there by yourself. It's some people that will carry you there. And by the time they will get there, it might be too late. So we are going to look at the technique proper. Like I said, it comprises of two things: chest compression and ventilation. Manual chest compression and artificial ventilation without the use of equipment or with manual adjunct. This is what we call basic life support. When we use equipment and drugs, we now enter into advanced cardiac life support. For the sake of this training, we are going to stop our basic life support so that all of us here will be able to benefit and know what to do when it happens. Remember, the goal of this thing is to minimize time. The earlier we start, the better the outcome or the better the prognosis. A body or a brain without oxygen for 3 to 5 minutes, that brain will become vegetable, irreversible damage. No matter what we do after that 5 minutes, we are not doing anything again. So the golden time is between 3 to 5 minutes. If we are able to get to that patient at that time, and that is why it's important for all of us here to be able to know how to do this CPR. We are going to concentrate more on cardiac compression. I've told you why. But if you are able to do the ventilatory aspect of it, fine and good, is also equally good. Then successful outcome requires strong recognition and action. Brain death occurs in 4 minutes in room air and 6 to 10 minutes with prior oxygen administration. We are going to look at CPR, adult CPR. There's what we call hands-only CPR. There's what we call rescue breath. There's what we call multi-rescuer. If you are more than 2, if you are more than 1 person, it has come to multi-rescuer. One person will be doing chest compression, another person will be doing rescue breath. And how do we do that? Chest compression, we do 30 per minute. 30 per minute. To make sure we are doing 30 chest compression per minute and then 2 ventilation. Not 30 per minute. When you do 30 cycles, then the person will do 2 rescue breaths. Per minute, we are targeting 120 chest compression per minute. So within 1 minute, you should be able to do 4 cycles. So if you times 4 times 30, that is 120. Then 4 times 2, that is 8. So you must do at least 120 chest compressions per minute and 8 cycles of rescue breath. Then we advocate hands-only CPR on no training, no medical background, like people, some of us here that don't have any medical training. We advocate for hands-only CPR, but if you have a little knowledge of medical background, we also advocate for that rescue breath. We are going to look at adult basic life is the foundation for saving lives. Following cardiac arrest, it includes immediate recognition of sudden cardiac arrest and activation of the emergency response team. Early cardiopulmonary resuscitation and rapid defibrillation with an automated external defibrillator is the key. immediate recognition of, I'm going to use what we call American Heart Association guidelines for CPR. This American Heart Association is being developed and reviewed every five years. You see, this 2025, it has been reviewed, but it has not been made public. Every 5 years, everybody involved in the management will gather and then they will review the activities over the last 5 years. And then the one they reviewed in 2010, that was way before. We are talking of ABC, method of cardiac pulmonary resuscitation, before 2010. But after 2010, when they now reviewed, they found out that chest compression is more important than airway. That was why they now changed this to CAB rather than ABC, method of resuscitation. Over the years, after that 2010, another one was done in 2015, and another review was done in 2020. This 2025 has been done. A little modification has been added to the way. When you do a cycle, like when you do 330 chest compression, you give 2 rescue breaths. That one did not change. And then again, in neonate, instead of doing 30 before you give rescue breath, you do 15. When you do 15, you give 2 rescue breaths. So if you look at it, you find out what increased in the neonate is just the rescue breath. Because they found out that in children, the commonest cause of cardiac arrest is hypoxia. Hypoxia, like I said, is lack of oxygen. You find out that in these children, rather than chest compression, if you give oxygen at times, you find out that these people will pick up. So, we are going to look at what we call adult shape of survival. When adult has cardiac arrest, what do you do? The first thing is recognition. Recognition of cardiac arrest. The second one is call for emergency response. The third is adequate and effective CPR. If the defibrillator is there, you defibrillate, then you post cardiac care arrest, and then you take the patient to hospital. At times, if they are lucky, the person will there will be return of spontaneous circulation at the scene. But at the end of the day, we must equally take that patient to hospital for people to evaluate and know what was the cause of that cardiac arrest. If you resuscitate the person and you allow the person to go home, that thing might happen again. You see, in my place, we always say, if you allow what takes the fufu, if you don't look at what takes the fufu, or find out what takes the fufu will come and equally take the soup. So you must find out what happened before the thing will come back and cause more havoc. So you take the person to the hospital, evaluate, and then educate the person so that that person will not do what caused the first cardiac arrest. What I will tell us here, the second cardiac arrest is more dangerous than the first one. If you allow it to occur again, it is more dangerous. So whenever it happens, find out what led to that and try to prevent it from occurring again. Then, like we said, immediate recognition and then activation of emergency medical service. If, as we are here in this hall now, and suddenly somebody to laugh, before you should start CPR, you must first of all shout. Then call emergency medical team. You understand? You must activate that response team first. When you now activate it, you can now start their CPR. Most of the times, you go and start CPR, you also may fall a victim. There will be two victims on the ground, and who will resuscitate each other. So before you start, you have to shout, even us. As it happens now, I will not bear it, I will call for help before I start. And when you are calling for help, be specific. Tell them there's a problem there. There is a cardiac arrest. A cardiac social center inside the hall of cardiac social center. And when you are coming, come with the AED. You see, you have activated the medical response system. So, as those people are coming, you continue doing their CPR until when they come, they will take over from you. Like I said, once you start this CPR, you must continue until the patient dies or you die. So you must continue and you must call for a backup so that we will not have two victims. Then the emphasis more is on chest CPR. One, we must start compression within 10 seconds of recognition of cardiac arrest. I will tell us how do you recognize like a cardiac arrest. We said a sudden cessation of effective cardiac function and agonal breathing. You may see somebody walking like this. When you look at how the person is breathing, there's what we call agonal breathing. You know that this thing is leading to an imminent cardiac arrest. You quickly stop it. The person will breathe, breathe, and the person will not come down immediately. Normally, all of us here we are breathing. Nobody is noticing it. Is it not so? But when you see somebody breathing and all of us is seeing it, that is an abnormal breathing, or what you call agonal breathing. You must try to avoid it. If you keep waiting, within 10 seconds, that person will fall. You understand? And then how do you recognize pulse? The MC said pulse. I was waiting for him to tell us how to check. You understand? How to check for pulse in that situation. Remember, I said within 10 seconds. CPR must be started within 10 seconds of its recognition. There's what we call the carotid pulse. You understand? You go to the neck of the person, if that person is an adult. When you touch your hand here, you feel a groove, towards the center of the neck, you feel a groove. That is where this carotid artery is the vessel that carries blood to the brain. So if any other vessel collapse, what we call peripheral, because again what I want to say is, when there is no pulse in the central vessels, in the human body we have peripheral and central vessels. The one we do here, we normally check pulse rate at the radial artery is a peripheral artery. Even before the cardiac arrest will happen, that pulse will disappear. But if you check here at the neck and there is no pulse there, know that there is a problem. It's then, there and then that you start your cardiac compression. But in a child and neonate, go to where we call a branchial artery. It's there that we can check and see whether the person is responding or not. There's another thing we do. We say when the person, you just gently tap the person and say, Mr. John, Mr. John, Mr. John. If you shout, Mr. John, or if you don't know the person's name, you can say, Mr. Man, Mr. Man. And since we are here in the north, I think you can shout Alao, Alao. I don't believe that if you shout Alao on any outside man here, the man will fight you. Is it not so? Likewise, if you are in the Igbo land, you say Mazi, Mazi. the person will respond. If the person does not respond, that means there is cardiac arrest, and then you start immediately. Another way you find out that this one is for the medical personnel, you bring out something like cotton wool and put it near the person's nostrils. If the person is expired, you find out there will be a flicker, that cotton wool will be doing like this. Then you know that the person is into coma, not cardiac arrest. But when you do all those things and the person is not responding, that is when you term it cardiac arrest, and you must start immediately. Like I said, you must push hard and push fast. And you must compress at the rate of at least 120 per minute, depth of 5 centimeters, children and adults, and depth of approximately 4 centimeters for infants and neonates. When you are doing this thing, you must allow for complete chest recoil after each compression. Because what you are doing, when you compress the heart, you compress it without allowing the chest to recoil. What you are doing, when you compress, you allow so that the heart, the blood from the lower part of the body, now enter inside the heart and you compress again. And when you are compressing, you should minimize interruption in compressing. Not that you are doing chest compression and somebody calls you, you now take your phone and be answering. You are not doing it right. When you want to do it, stop everything you are doing, put all your strength and might in what you are doing. Because anything you make mistake, the effort you have achieved, you will lose it. Give effective breaths that make the chest rise and avoid excessive ventilation. Something I want to do say now again is that when you are doing the chest compression, bring it to your height. I mean, most of us, some of us are vertically challenged. We are not as tall, we are not the same. So it's not the height I will do CPR that somebody else that I'm higher than we do. So when you want to do CPR, look for your height. When we come to practical, you find out why we are saying this. In fact, we advocate for every person when you want to do it on the floor, so that you can be able to squat and be able to do it. And when doing CPR, this hand must be at the right angle. Yes, ma'am. If it's not at the right angle, the effective thrust of the force of what you are doing will be destroying what you are doing. So when you are doing this, make sure that is at the right angle. See, not at the hand is like this. When your hand is like this, the force of what you are doing will be going like this and like this. The perpendicular to each other, and the forces will not align. So you must do it. You must do it. I must do it on the floor, so that everybody, when you are doing it, the force will be able to. And the one thing is the ethical issues in CPR. I'm not going to go to these ethical issues. What I'm going to learn today is for you to know two things I've said: effective chest compression and rescue breath. The most important one is effective chest compression. Remember, I said in adults it must be 5 centimeter depth, and it must do it at least 180 beats per minute, and rescue breath, and at the ratio of 30 is 2 in an adult and 15 to 2 in a child. Then when you stop, recovery of effective ventilation, or when you have transferred the care, or reliable criteria. So at this junction, I think I'll finish with the theory. I will get examination of So at this junction, I think I'll finish with the theory. Yeah. You can now invite on the practical aspect of it. So I was teaching there. Anyone can come up and teach the person how to do effective PPR. Thank you. Maybe at the end, if you have questions, you can ask.
I was expecting a bigger hand to give emphasis to this topic. So now I think we'll be seeing the practical, and after that, we'll just take little questions. There'll be questions and answers. Just need maybe like 2 or 3 people. So if you have questions, just raise up your hand.
I think we may need to divide ourselves since we have 2 managers so that we can just have the practical session. Maybe in the next 15 to 20 minutes we should be done. Those on my left will come to this side, while those on my right can come to the other end. Please, let's be fast.
Yes, it's shaking. I know that. I think we should go together. Charge the number. Let's go together. Let me clear up.
When it's changed, media okay, please let's go. Some can stay here while others come. They are staying like this. The most important thing is in CPR first. Somebody is so then an unexpected situation of the heart. That means you don't expect it. The patient just drop and it's bleeding. Right? If you observe, it's like there's an epidemic of something and it cut across every age and sex. So now somebody collapses and you think you have an arrest. And this thing maybe happens on those roads. You don't just go and start doing CPR on the patient. You have to think of the safety first and the safety of the patient that had the arrest. So what you do is that if the patient is in a building, for example, that or fire, you understand, burning fire or close danger, you move the patient away from danger so that you yourself you don't become a victim. Are we clear? What have I said? So that we'll be on the same page. We're very fast. Can you hear her?
So look at the scene.
You have to be on the
And see whether
a
lot of people have lost their lives trying to save another person. So the first thing is your safety and the safety of the person. So now the patient has stopped breathing. How do you confirm that the patient has had cardiac arrest? You see, we have 2 major vessels for adults. For adults, one of the vessels is here. We call it carotid pulse. If you put your hand, everybody should put his hand on his neck. When you go, you feel the pulse. That's what we look for. We look for what we call carotid pulse. Another pulse that we check for is the femoral pulse. The femoral pulse is the one here. Sometimes we just looking for the pulse here. Because why? These are big vessels. You understand? But for children, what we look for is the radial pulse. Here, the radial pulse is here. If you check for the pulse, the radial pulse, you feel it. But we usually don't use it for adults. For adults, we use carotid pulse and the word femoral. You understand? When you don't feel the pulse, you understand? And the patient can see anything. You can ask Mr. John. You understand? You tap Mr. John. If there's no response, you can say Alao Omala. But if you know his name, you can ask Mr. John. Can you hear me? Mr. John, can you hear me? Sharp for help. The help that we are saying is activating an emergency medical services in advanced countries where things are working. That means somebody is going to call an ambulance and give specific instruction by telling them what happened. That somebody suddenly collapsed in Catholic Social Center while an event is going and is not responding. Once we tell them that, they know what you're doing. So they will come with what we call defibrillator. The defibrillator is an AED. We call it an automated external defibrillator. It's this shocking this thing that you see that we put on the chest, you understand, and shock the heart. If we have it in the hospital, that's why we have what we call in-hospital and out-hospital cardiac arrest. In the hospital, if we have it, instead of doing the CPR, we go for the shocking first before we do CPR. So, when you are shouting for help, you are saying there's cardiac arrest. You are telling people around that somebody is dying or is dead, so that other people can come to help you. Are we clear? In the hospital, what we do is this. We say CAB, CAB. Many of us join that CAB. Just to make it very easy. We start with chest compression, airway, and breathing. What did I say?
Chest compression, airway, and breathing.
So how do we do the chest compression? For children, what matters for them is the breathing. If children are dying, but for adults, we emphasize on the chest compression. And you stand, you kneel down beside the patient, not this way. You can see the position in which I've adopted. You understand? For us, you see the tongue here. You go to the, this is the lower aspect. This is the stomach. This is your ribs. This is your heart. Your heart is this is where your heart is. Where your left, where your heart is. We CPR. We don't go to that space. Hello? We don't go there. We come to the lower aspect of, you see, this is the nipple. So below the nipple, this is where we put our hands. And everybody should do this. Everybody should do this. See the way I lace my hand. It is the ball of your tongue, lace my hand. It is the ball of your tongue that you are using. And when we are doing CPR, we don't want our hands to fold. We want to understand. This is how we do it. Can you see? Can you hear that sound? If you are not doing it well, that sound in that manner is, you won't hear that sound. So you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You understand? For the rescue breath, in the hospital, what we usually do is this. Like, you see the way the patient will lie. We do for chin lift, then we put mouth to mouth and give 2 breaths. Then we continue with. You understand? Okay. The chest compression. Just start from what I started. Very fast. Somebody has arrested. Just give now. Don't just go. What do you do? Very fast. You don't have time. That's not what I said.
Any question?
Is that what I started with? What was the first thing I said? No. What was the first thing I said and I asked her?
Ensure you are safe.
Your safety first. Yes, you just came. Someone that's arrested, you just came. So your safety. You understand? Take the patient to most times if you get to fix at that time, you may want to start to understand the CPR, and you yourself shall become the next victim to lose your life. So your safety, you understand, comes first. So what if we say the first thing? Okay, they are taking the patient to the safer place. So what do you do? Check for us. Yes. You can. Mr. John. Can you hear me, Mr. John? Can you hear me? No response. You feel for the pulse. There is no pulse. You understand? Then call for help. You understand? You call for help because you know that you have to pulse. So you call for help. You understand? Go ahead. Go ahead. If you don't hear that sound, you are not doing it properly. Go ahead. See, I said your hand must be straight. You understand? Your elbow must be straight. Below the 2 nipples, the line below the 2 nipples. Very good. Go ahead. Gentlemen, you have to do this. Oh yeah, very fast, very fast.
See how your hand is. I said, see what? You must do your hand like this. You see this my hand. You see that?
And there must be that sound. That sound must be.
But he's doing it like this, like dog. Like this, nothing is happening. I would have put this light so that you will see. When it is red, that means you have killed the patient. That's why I don't want to put it here, because most of you will kill this Mr. John.
My sister, we are very fast, very fast. Remember, always grind here below it. No, below. Oh yeah, fast. Not too far, they are too far ahead. 4, 5, 6, ahead. Very good. Did you see what the chest is doing? If you are doing it right, chest, no, just 2. 1, you see? So he did it right. That chest, if you're doing it correctly, why I didn't want to put my mouth there is that, you understand? I did, you understand, there should be, there should be good. That sound, do you hear the sound? No. You are not doing it. You must hear that sound. You are too fast, but you are trying to go ahead. You must do these things because we don't know tomorrow. You don't know whose life you will be saving. So you have to come and try it.